All right, bro. Thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Let's go.
So big Jake Lords on
Yep.
Instagram. Okay, so I was like scrolling through your social media all the way to the very beginning.
Okay.
Dude, first of all, I didn't realize that you've been kind of like wild on social media since day one. Like 2015, I was seeing some pretty crazy videos on there.
Oh, yeah. I would turn it up. Dude, I remember pranking people like
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like going to like Greek row at the U and like messing with people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just recording it.
Yeah. I'm like, my brother says, he's like, dude, if we were recording me 10 years ago, I would have blown up.
Yeah.
You know,
facts.
and then you put it on YouTube and it's like, yeah, like the Nelk boys.
Oh, yeah.
They came in and Salim, I was driving them around. I helped host them.
Really?
And like I was like showing them how to mess with people, and they were like, they had no idea. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
I believe it, man. Well, that just reminds me of when we went skiing last year.
Oh,
And
just the falling out and falling out of the
Dude,
tram.
You're like, dude, check this out. Record it. I'm like, all right. So I just start recording.
Yeah.
No idea what you're gonna do.
No clue.
Just full yard sail out of the tram.
Yeah.
Snowbird.
Getting the little Mexican ladies to give us a hoya.
Oh yeah.
Hoya.
Yeah. They were all about it too.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, repeated 20 times. Well, man, it seems like you do everything. I mean, obviously spearfishing is like the biggest thing. And
Right.
You're like sponsored and everything from
Right.
that, freshwater. But then like I saw snowmobiling, skiing, obviously we do
Yeah.
a bunch of that together. Is like, you just do everything? What?
Yeah, I mean, I just like growing up in Utah, and like scouts, you kind of just pick and choose your battles.
Sure.
And, I grew up like playing, basketball, baseball, football, was really small in like high school. So I had to like transition, I played golf in high school and then 2 years in college.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. You were small in high school?
I graduated like sophomore year. I was 5'2", like 120 pounds.
Oh, so you just shot up
Yeah.
after high school.
I graduated like 5'9", like 160.
What the heck? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, I got big after high school.
Big after high school. You got the big Jake
Yeah,
Lords
yeah,
after high
yeah.
school.
I was just Jake Lords in high school.
Yeah. No big yet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you just kind of like had all those things. I mean, you've been sponsored by some really huge brands.
Yeah.
What I really thought was cool is I was looking back, like you were tagging Monster Energy and like those original videos. And I guess before anyone even knew that was something you could do, you were tagging like all I'm guessing your favorite brands in your videos.
Yeah. So I would kind of do things different just because like Monster's not going to reach out to, a random person in Salt Lake City, Utah that spearfishes.
Yeah.
So I actually just figured out, I went on LinkedIn.
Oh.
And I'd like go to Monsters because it shows their job.
Yeah.
And like I would find like the marketing rep and then message them on Instagram.
Dude.
So there's at one point where like I was a micro influencer for Monster.
Yeah.
And dude, I would get like 16 cases of Monster every month.
And for like a young guy, that's everything.
I still have the Monster fridge in my house. Like, oh yeah.
That's like, cause I grew up going to Park City. I think you went to Park City too, right? A bunch. So snowboarding at Park City, like the dudes that had like the Red Bull helmet.
Oh yeah.
And they were sponsored, but really all they did was just get a couple free
Red
Bulls every
right.
few months or whatever. But that didn't matter, bro. They were sponsored by Red Bull.
Right.
So that's kind of the same thing though.
Yeah. I mean, even skiing. So I was a lifty at Park City for 4 years.
Sick.
And I was skiing with like all those like Tom Wallish, Tanner Hall.
Really?
Oh yeah, the OGs, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Pet Fuhas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you ski because dude, you were pulling backflips and stuff.
Yeah.
In high school too, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day. Dude, that's crazy. So that's kind of like the social media, how you got started. So I'm really curious. I went back and I thought you maybe just done some of these crazier videos like recently, but I went back and I'm going to show you. These are some of the ones that I screenshotted, and I'll show this on the Instagram too. But the first one was you and this fish back in like, what was it 2015 or something like that?
Yeah.
Were you, dude? That's a pretty crazy picture to put online.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. My ex-wife actually took that picture.
Bro, that's wild. And then obviously, you know, you have.
I mean, that's just
you tagging like
oh,
this
yeah.
chick, and then
Dude, she's been on the Joe Rogan podcast 3 times.
Oh, she has?
Oh yeah.
What is she? I don't even know who this is.
Her name's Valentine Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just got your butt cheeks sticking
Oh
out.
yeah. Who wore it better?
Who wore it better? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like the videos that you started doing,
Yeah.
just throwing on this stuff. And like,
Yeah.
bro, I was just, I remember this one. And when we kind of reconnected a little bit, this is the one I saw.
Right.
And I was like, bro, this guy wilds out.
Oh yeah.
So what I was hoping to kind of talk about today is like, there's a fine line, I think, in social media,
Right.
where people are kind of like acting or goofing around
Right.
to get likes and whatever. And then there's the people who are just kind of generally being themselves and being authentic.
Right.
Do you feel like maybe you started in one place and moved to another, or do you think that you've been genuinely authentic the entire time? And what do you think the difference is?
I feel like I've been like pretty wild, like kind of like my whole life.
Okay.
Well, take that back. So I used to be, you would never believe this, but I used to be really shy.
Really?
Dude, I didn't kiss a girl until I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but you weren't really big or anything
no,
in high school, though.
So like senior year is where I like started like coming out of my shell.
Okay.
And then, you know, served an LDS mission and then came home and then just, and then I started selling for Vivint.
Yeah.
That was 2009.
Okay.
And then, yeah, like if you go way back, my very first summer, there's a picture of me butt ass naked, and I have a freaking spear on picture on the end of my spear, but it's like a homemade wood, and I've got
you just got your own little
Yeah.
thing. That's funny.
Yeah, that was like the picture of the whole summer. Everybody remembers that. I had somebody come up to the gym like 2 years ago, and they're like, "I still remember that." It was a wife, and I was just
my
I was like,
gosh,
"I still remember that picture of you, naked, like holding the fish," and I was just like, "Perfect."
Yeah. So I guess since like the very beginning, you've kind of, but I mean, there's almost like a decision that you have to make to put yourself out there. Like,
Oh yeah.
So how did that come about?
It's not even coming about. It's just like I'm being wild and authentic, and people are taking pictures. You know, it's like
that makes sense.
That's why I'm like, dude, if I had smartphones in high school,
Right.
like I'd either be in jail or or I'd be famous. You know,
Yeah. Usually it's both.
right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, I guess in your essence, it's like you were never doing it like knowing that there's a camera on you or anything like that. Just kind of since day one, you've been this, wild, outspoken guy.
I do this stuff by myself. Nobody's around. Like I get off to like messing with people.
Yeah, that's right.
Like my favorite all time is like going to Vegas, having somebody walk all the way across the street, you're in front, and then you tell them right when they get to the end that they drop something, then they go all the way back and start looking for it. It's like, and I'm by myself. Like,
You're just by yourself. Actually, now you're saying that, I have a really good friend, and that was, I guess it's pretty rare to run into people like you guys, but that was him too. He would like come up to us and show us this video of something wild he did. Like, dude, that was like a half an hour ago. Where were we? Oh, you guys were like up ahead. I just thought I'd do something crazy by myself. I'm like, dude. And so I guess that makes sense. Is that so? What we see on Instagram, that's probably like what 20% of or 50% of what you do.
If that,
really,
if that.
Wow.
Oh yeah, dude. I used to print pictures of myself on T-shirts and wear them, but I'd wear the same, like the same outfit. Like I'd wear the same hat as the picture that's on my shirt.
Just to get people's reactions.
Oh yeah, like 2011, I actually printed. This is before they had like the actual barcode. To like scan for a ski pass.
Sure, yeah.
I printed my ski pass on a shirt and it would scan.
Oh.
So like no, like it was literally like this, this big.
On your chest.
Yeah, the whole shirt.
Yeah. And they would scan.
And it would scan.
That's cool. So I guess what does it do when you do things like that? Is it what is it something internal that you get, or is it like the joy you see on people's like faces, or what do you get from all this?
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of rush for me. You know, it's like a natural high.
Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then, yeah, like you know, lately I've been cooking.
Yeah.
You know, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And like the other day, I was downtown. I pulled up right in front of a bar.
Yeah.
And while people were in line, I was just like cutting up meat and like handing it out.
Yeah.
And they're like, "So how much is it?" I was like, "No, it's free." Like,
Yeah.
yeah, just
Serving them.
And, oh yeah, and
Yeah.
just the joy of they're like, oh my, yeah, like this is so good.
Yeah. So I've got to ask, because I'm sure people who, and honestly, people who are listening to this right now are thinking this way, probably need to check themselves. But a lot of people would probably think, oh, it's self-serving. Like he's just doing that so that way he could get more paid promotions. Or he's just doing that so that way Traeger will sponsor him or whatnot.
Right.
What do you have to say?
So Traeger
like
already, they're like, they hook it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm not like I'd be considered an influencer for them.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah.
But honestly, the reason I do it is to get more clients.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah.
So just because I've been like privately cooking for people lately.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Either like business or like a, you know, company party or a family party. Like I'll pull up in their driveway and cook them, you know, a whole meal.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I guess in a way it's like, yes, you get a lot from, you know, being outgoing and like serving people, but you've kind of found a way to tie being outgoing, who you are,
right,
into kind of creating a business from it.
I for sure created. So, and this is what I was telling you, like, this last weekend is the hardest thing with like the door-to-door space is it's not the money, because money comes and goes.
Yeah.
It's the freedom and the time off.
Right. Yeah.
So like to try and like replicate like that, and then also culture.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard to replicate it. So I'm like almost trying to like go and create the culture myself.
Yeah.
And create, because the thing that like keeps people coming back is experiences.
Right.
And if I'm going and like creating a meal that's an experience, like when we're this weekend where I brought out the freaking blowtorch and like that's, you know, now like when people see the blowtorch, it's going to go back and be like, they're going to think of that weekend.
Jake Lords, by the way, what he did is you cooked this amazing, well, you used a blowtorch a few times, but this dessert was freaking wild. And then all of a sudden you put mushroom on, not mushroom, good hell. Marshmallows on top.
Yeah, we know what you did this weekend.
Marshmallows. And all of a sudden, like, we're all just kind of hanging out. All of a sudden, we just hear this whoosh noise. And then you just are freaking blowtorching the top of it. So you're right. It was a total experience.
Right.
And I 100% agree. What keeps people coming back to summer sales or like the sales industry is straight up the fact that it's almost like they found a way to gamify / like hook people into it through the culture and through like the activities and like the incentive trips.
Right.
And
I mean,
like
dude, think about it. Like you'll have a guy go out and knock a whole summer and make 10 grand. And he like, it was his best summer he's ever had, you know, maybe not the most profitable, but the kid will remember it for the rest of his life.
Right. Just loved every minute of it. Loved the group of guys that he was with. You know, maybe he won like the incentive trip barely, and he's going to go to Mexico or go on the cruise and just love every part of it. And then he's going to come out the next summer.
Right.
Right. And so what you're saying is you're trying to create that outside of the door-to-door space, outside of the sales space.
I mean, and I feel like I've been doing it.
Yeah.
So
what do you think are
but also like my sales aspect of it.
Yeah.
I kind of have the mindset of what do you have to lose and what do you have to gain? If I go talk to this person, same thing in the door-to-door space. If I go talk to this person and they say no, I didn't lose anything. If I don't go and talk to them and they, you know, I'll never know.
Yeah. And then what do you have to gain from that?
Right. So it like if they say yes, then like the rest is history.
Absolutely.
So I actually had an experience. There's a bar downtown called Lake Effect.
Yeah, I know Lake Effect.
And Post Malone was like sitting there chilling. And I just went up to him. I was like, "Hey, man, I appreciate everything you do for me, or you've done for the community.
Yeah.
I'd love to come cook for you."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh shit!" Like, he's like, "Dude, I just ordered 5,000 pounds of buffalo, and I just shot 2 elk." I was like, "Let me come do a bacon wrap backstrap for you on your elk." He's like, "Grab my number."
No,
Or you can grab his number, and we've just been like talking back and forth. So yeah, it'll happen.
And it's because you're serving him, right?
Right.
How do you think your
But not even serving him. It's I'm creating that experience for him
right?
that he's not going to really get anywhere else.
No, for sure. How do you think your time in door to door and in sales, and like this act of like service almost, has translated into what you're doing now?
I think just the like looking at everything in like a numbers game. The more people I talk to, the more opportunities I'm going to get.
Right.
The worst somebody can say is no.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's like I hate saying this, but like it's kind of transpired even into like dating.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't hear no, and I just like
Yeah.
I just keep on going until it's like blocked, like
In dating, the worst thing that could happen is just blocked. It's
yeah. I mean, I'm like, dude, that like okay, next,
now
like
I can't even say no anymore.
right,
Whatever.
right.
That makes sense. Overcome those smoke screens. And
Right.
objections,
But I mean, like, dude, that's my like, even because I can cook, that's like a go-to for dating. Oh, let me come make you a dinner.
Yeah.
99% of guys aren't making dinner.
Nah, sorry. I'm not either. But I should learn, honestly.
Right.
I should learn.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Like, dude, I wasn't doing this. I haven't been cooking my whole life.
Right.
I probably 8 years ago, I won a Traeger from like an incentive.
Oh, yeah.
At Vivint, and just started cooking on it, started posting on it.
Yeah.
Where I would bring like the Traeger with me spearfishing.
Yeah.
And I'd literally shoot a fish and then go put it on the smoker, like right there.
Right then and there.
Yeah.
For all of you who don't know, if you go to his Instagram, you've bolted a Traeger to the bed of your truck.
But like
you strapped it down. Yeah.
So if you see a Traeger rolling around
in the bed of a truck.
and and I've got a big electric generator.
Oh, right.
So I'll plug it in. I'll be smoking like down the highway, like dude, just smoke just billowing out through like, yeah.
Well, I saw the last one. My wife was like, we walked out of the gym and you were at Lifetime in the parking lot cooking. And she was like, "What the heck?" I'm like, "Oh, that's Jake. That's his truck."
That's so funny.
And it's like, yeah, just protein right after
the
gym, man.
Oh, yeah. We had some fillets then,
So that's amazing. So, I mean, it's an act of service to people, but what you found is, hey, if I can feed people, if I can like serve them in that way and create an experience,
right,
and they're going to remember it, and it's going to build a culture, and it's going to...
Right. Well, I mean, like there's only a couple things that are like an international language. Music's one of them, and food's another.
Oh, yeah.
So like it doesn't matter if you speak, English or a different language, like you're gonna eat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You see good food, like
yes.
It doesn't matter what language you're speaking, like you see good food and you're gonna eat it.
Yeah. And I really love what you just said there. I've never really thought about that because my wife and I are foodies, man. And my wife is from Slovakia, and so I know you know that, but so we travel a bunch.
Right.
And the way that I always feel more connected to a culture is by eating their food. So when we go to a new country, for example, let me think of a good one. Oh, we went to Switzerland for the first time. The first thing we did is we looked it up and we went to a restaurant. And we just said, okay, cool. Like, give us like a taster menu of pretty much everything that's like local to this place. And they brought out these cheeses, which again, cheese in Europe is like super well known, but it's so crazy how the cheese in like Czech Republic and Slovakia differs very much from like the Swiss cheese. And so we're trying it, and I just never felt closer to a culture from eating their food.
Right.
And the funny thing is when my father-in-law and brother-in-laws came over, I was so excited to show them, you know, like some hefty, hearty steaks, for example.
Right.
And I don't even know what else American food I showed them. I think I showed them some like corn dogs or something like that. I can't remember, but that was the idea. It was like, hey, let's show you what we have here so that way we can experience something together.
Right.
Is that something you've noticed? Is there like a time where you kind of introduced food to like someone specific and it kind of like changed their viewpoint, or?
So I wouldn't say like introducing food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not like cooking for, you know, people from out of the country.
Okay. Yeah.
But the way it's cooked, that's like, you know, for like doing brisket.
Yeah.
There's stuff I can't say on this podcast, but
yeah. But you do it.
no, like when I did brisket with my homie Kendrick BBQ.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, he's like the damn near face of Traeger.
Gotcha.
And dude, he's got 4 million followers between all of his platforms.
Oh dang. Okay.
Oh, like crushing.
Yeah. Because he's the one that's got like it's like the tatted logo. Right?
Yeah.
So good looking.
And so we went and cooked for that Red West country concert.
Okay.
There was like 200 people, and we did brisket, and people were like, "Dude, I'm from Texas, and this is the best brisket I've ever had."
Dang, that's
so it's like So it's like that's the, you know, I guess food of love language.
Right.
Is when you're having food that you can go and buy anywhere, but it's made different.
It's made different. Well, one that's coming to mind is, didn't you like crack some? Was it monsters or something like that? Or you
I do. Yeah, I do. I'll do like pulled pork, and I'll do like the Beast.
Oh yeah.
So it's It's
the alcoholic one,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's Monsters like malt. And I'll do like because the alcohol gets cooked out of it.
Oh right.
But then like they have a peach. Oh yeah, and you can like it makes it super sweet.
Yeah, and it's just crazy to think that it was like Monster flavoring it.
Right. Yeah. I'm working with like I'll do beer can chicken.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing probably the next couple weeks a tequila lime chicken and a tequila lime shrimp.
Oh, with like a specific brand that you have in mind? Or?
Yep.
Okay, that's sick. Awesome. So you create these experiences, and through social media, you show a lot of experiences that you create and so forth. What I'm really curious is, as you said at the beginning, and I got to ask a little bit, like, you know, you're being true and authentic, but it didn't always start this way. And so what I'm curious is like, what has happened in your past to make you so comfortable putting yourself out there?
I think I've always been that way.
Okay.
But I think like social media, like sometimes I have to think in my head, I'm like, I can't say this. Like I have that's my tism. Like I have no filter, and I'm just like, I'm like, did I just say that out loud? Like,
in the words of Theo Vaughn, everyone's got that tism. Dog.
Yeah.
Okay. So you find that you're actually kind of holding back a little bit from your true self sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, I'm looking up here. I wanted to write down a list of like all the sponsors you had, but like literally between spearfishing and stuff, like you've had just so many sponsors. Did you reach out to them all through just Instagram?
A lot of the time, like it's starting to now, like companies are reaching out to me.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just for, you know, dude, I've had a lot of pickleball companies like send.
Really?
Yeah. I play a lot of pickleball.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually playing in a tournament tomorrow. But no, so kind of going back to the spearfishing.
Yeah.
And it like, I mean, I grew up like fishing and stuff.
Yeah.
99% of people in Utah have no idea what spearfishing is.
No.
You know,
that's usually what you do in the ocean.
Right. They're thinking I'm like above the water and like have like a harpoon, you know? So, and then when you have to like kind of explain it or show them a video, then it like kind of makes sense. But so I shot the world record smallmouth, like, this is like 6 years ago.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And then one of my homies owned a spearfishing company in Hawaii called Hatch Custom Spear Guns.
Okay.
And he would like pretty small, like out of his garage, like wetsuits, fins, like
Really?
custom guns.
Yeah.
And then 3 years ago, I walked into like it's the largest dive shop in the United States.
Okay.
It's called Spear America. And I walked in, and that's when I knew I'm like, I've created a name for myself, because I walked in and I was like, hey, how much would you guys sell this gun to me? And he said, the owner was there.
Oh.
And he's like, well, it depends on how loyal you are to Hatch.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So I called Hatch, and I was just like, hey, they want me on their team as like a sponsored diver. And he's like, dude, 100% take it. So I've been with it for 3 years, and it's been like the best.
Wow. Because I mean, you've been on podcasts from all around the world.
Yeah.
I was looking through it today, and it was like from freaking Australia.
Australia.
The guys got calling you and everything.
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens when you get like a world record.
Yeah, so I've got 3 world records now.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, I've got the world record rainbow trout, brook trout, and smallmouth bass.
So what I've got to assume is that you've brought so much here. I mean, I didn't know anything about spearfishing until I met you.
Right.
And the way that I saw you was you did a video for Vivint where
Right.
you were spearfishing and you're doing all this stuff. And the idea was, hey, like you could do summer sales, kind of going back to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because you have so much like free time
Right.
outside of sales to do whatever you want, follow your passions. And it was a sick video of you like diving down,
Yeah.
shooting them and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd never heard of spearfishing before
Right.
that.
Yeah, that was a cool video, actually.
It was cool. I hope that you have that.
Yeah.
They should give that to you. But I guess what these companies are liking so much is that you bring it a very different take.
Way different.
Way different, like showing your ass cheeks and
Oh,
like
yeah.
going crazy. And so I guess what could people learn from that?
Yeah, you almost like have to create like a niche, or,
Yeah.
doing something that nobody else is willing to do.
Oh, okay. That could be pretty scary.
Right.
Right.
Right. I mean, yeah, like initially you got to get vulnerable for sure with yourself. But also like to put it on social media. But the biggest downfall with like society these days is they care so much what people think.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't give a crap. Like, I don't care what you say. Like, I'm doing me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it kind of played out.
When you were kind of growing up or getting started, did you ever have like teachers or like authority figures try to like kind of put you down and like suppress that part of you?
Not really. Not that I can think of the top of my head. Like I said, I wasn't like crazy wild in high school.
Right.
Dude, yeah, I'm just now like just stories are like popping up, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, I think
it was mostly positive.
Yeah.
And then kind of like enforcement you got.
like my mom, was just like always kind of a positive impact, and she was like the outgoing one and always throwing parties and.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of learned it from her.
Awesome. So.
Yeah. What about your dad? I just had a curiosity.
My dad's a little bit more reserved, not like, but like he was always there to like support us in all of our sports. My dad was like, he was a UPS driver growing up.
Oh, cool.
So he's worked,
hardworking guy,
crazy hard worker. Like there's nobody else I know that worked his ass off like he did. Like I'm talking like waking up at 5 a.m. and during the holidays, like home at 9.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Do you think, because a lot of times people will see in their father traits that they either want to emulate or they want to stay away from, whether it's work traits or
right. Yeah. So I think I like the hard work. I for sure like get that from him.
Yeah.
And then probably the social like butterfly I get from my mom.
Yeah. Do you think that like the want to have like time freedom and the want to like be able to pick your own schedule, was that kind of coming from seeing your dad like having to
for
stick
sure
to a schedule
for
so
sure
hard?
Well, and also like knowing like realistically thinking
Yeah.
door to door is unrealistic.
Very.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know anywhere that you can go out and make six figures in such a short amount of time. Like, for instance, like solar. Yeah. Like, dude, if you tell like a homie, you're like, dude, I just made 15 grand in one deal. And you're like, what? You're like, you in one deal?
And what? Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
then they're like, so my dad retired.
Mm-hmm.
My brother was working in Arkansas, with Vivint and like crushing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking like, he's installing 160, 170.
Right. We talked
which
about
is
that
just
as well.
absolutely crushing.
Yeah. Installing, not selling.
Yeah. Like making, his checks, every week are, $200,000-$300,000.
Yeah.
And like showing my dad this, my dad went and flew out and tried to knock, and he's like,
Did he really?
nope. Like, he's like, it takes a certain person to like, so.
Wow.
But yeah, like in my parents are so good at, as far as the authentic side,
Yeah.
they're so good at like making people feel wanted,
Wow.
and like feel at home. And dude, my mom is so good. Even my dad, they're so good at remembering people and their names.
Really?
So that's my tism.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like sometimes weird sometimes. Like, bro, I was at the gym like 3 months ago. I walked up to this dude. I was like, hey, is your name Matt Patrick? And he's like, yeah, bro. I'm like, dude, we're in the 3rd grade together. And I'm like, he's like, what? Like, bro, it was weird. It got weird for a little bit.
He's like, cool, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what's up?
Yeah.
How you been?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I really like what you said is like you got from your mom, like this outgoing, fun personality, caring, from your dad, this hard work ethic, which is, frankly, if I were to describe a perfect sales rep, it's kind of those two things,
right?
Hard work and outgoing and caring. The caring part specifically, I like that you mentioned, because you can be a hard worker and outgoing, but if you don't care, if you don't have that empathetic bone in you, then we see sales guys like that burn out all the time, right? And so I'm guessing that's kind of what you wanted to emulate in your brother too.
Right.
And so now that because obviously we were at Vivint together for years. We both lived at Vivint about the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of did solar. I think you just did solar for just a short bit before you started cranking on this, right? How has that transition been from sales, like the actual door to door, to kind of your own thing?
Dude, to be honest, I actually miss the doors.
Do you really?
Why? I miss the, and maybe this is like my ADHD.
Yeah.
Is I miss the whole process of like knocking on the door and then like working my way into the home, mm-hmm. and then like sitting down, because like when you're getting trained, like and I guess like that's the the thing that like I guess ruins it, doesn't like relationships or sales or any job, is that having a secondary conversation.
Oh,
like think about it, like you try and start thinking what the customer's thinking, then you're gonna like you'll butcher the deal every single time.
Oh, okay.
Where you just keep on like pushing, like if they're gonna say no,
right? If you're only being sales related, you mean
right,
just
right,
sales,
right,
yeah.
Or
but like if you're too serious,
right.
General, right,
Oh, dude, and if you pull up videos, I probably even archive some of them. Like, dude, we would get wild on the doors. Yeah. Like, bro, 4th of July.
Oh my gosh.
Like, dude, we're shooting fireworks at freaking ADT signs, like with the customer. Yeah. Like, dude, I've got a siren megaphone. Like, congratulations, you won a free doorbell camera, bro. Dude, I gotta find this video. I'll show it to you. We've got a video of the lady ripping her panel off the wall. Bro, it's so good.
Her old security.
Yeah, literally ripped it off the wall, bro.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so
we just get him so hyped.
Yeah.
Like the energy is unmatched.
Yeah.
I mean, you know Bobbick.
Oh yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
So Bobbick for sure.
So Bobbick's like freaking, like he just
let's go.
Yeah. Like, and it's so hard to, like, that energy. Like, that's what I actually miss. Like, you know.
Because you
But
can
like
bring that in some capacity.
for sure, but like the sales process, like that's what like I went to Cancun a couple weeks ago with my brothers as +1, and I'm like, dude, I miss like just this like culture and the camaraderie.
Yeah, well, you feed off each other.
Right.
Bobak is a good
Right.
example. I mean, Bobak works with us now. So, like, literally when he's out in Dallas, because he lives in Hawaii, right? But when he's out in Dallas with us, literally it just brings the whole energy up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's and the guys like you and him have that capacity.
Right,
Where
right.
You walk into the room, it could be dead, but you could bring it up, and then we all feed off of each other.
Oh, dude, it's
And
like
that's the culture that thrives, right?
Right.
So it's funny. I was literally just listening to a podcast with Chris Williamson, and
Okay.
I'll have to think of the guy that he interviewed. But the guy he interviewed, he's an Indian guy, and the topic was why it is so important to be serious. And I listened to it before this because I was like, Jake.
I'm like the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. The opposite. It was interesting though because I was listening to it. He's like, "Oh, you gotta be serious. You gotta be serious." But I thought about, I'm like, wait, you are serious in your craft. You are serious about. You take what you do. You don't take what you do lightly.
Right.
Like you put all of your effort into it, and I think that's what the guy was trying to get across. Now, do you do it in a very different way than a lot of other people? Yeah. But I guess like, what would you say to people that are like so serious and who want to be like you, but feel like maybe like they would be unauthentic?
Well, I mean, it kind of is going back like, don't try and be someone you're not. You know, like if you're not like super outgoing, energetic, like there's only so much you can fake.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and we even say it like fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
You know, but there's only so much you can fake.
Yeah.
You know, until you actually like find your pitch or your skill set of whatever.
Well, I think about it because if a guy like you comes into a room, right, and let's say it's a bunch of serious people, you have the capacity to bring the energy up
For sure.
and lighten the room, and those people who are serious, not that they'll get goofy. I don't think like that's like the term that we're talking about here, but like they'll lighten up and they can still be very serious about sales and they can be very serious about hitting numbers and so forth, but they could do it with a different like demeanor, a different attitude. And so I know a lot of people look at people like yourself,
Right.
and they say, I want to be like him. I want to have that talent to enlighten people, bring them up.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. A story actually like comes to my mind. It was my homie's birthday party. It was downtown, at a bar. He was DJing at it, like at his own birthday party.
Cool.
His brother's Jordan Clarkson, who plays for the Jazz.
Oh, yeah.
And like a bunch of Jazz players were coming in, and I was like, "You guys hungry?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're starving." I freaking ran to Smith's, grabbed some tri-tip, started smoking like right in front of the bar.
Because your truck was outside.
Yeah. So, and they're like, no, bro. I ended up freaking hand feeding like one of the players. Like,
You're apprehensive at first, huh?
What?
They're apprehensive at first? Or
Oh,
what?
I mean, they were just like, "Oh yeah, I'm not." I'm like, "Bro, just try a little bit, dude. I get paid to put meat in people's mouths." Like, bro, and I literally hand fed one of the players, bro. It's like,
and they loved it. Did they?
Oh yeah,
eat
no.
it up?
Oh yeah, I got one of their numbers, and then they want me to like come cook for them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you saw an opportunity, and even though, I guess you coupled it, like you were very serious about it. Like you ran to Smith's, and there's a level of, I don't know if fear is the right word, but there's a level of uncertainty. Like you're putting yourself out there if it's going to work at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what was the worst case scenario that was going through your mind during that?
The worst case scenario is like nobody eats this meat.
Yeah.
But I know they're gonna eat it.
They're gonna, yeah. Your confidence is so high. But again, like no one eats the feet. But a lot of people are just they'll stop themselves short of trying something new or putting themselves out there because they're just afraid that people won't want it. But it's like, dude, worst case scenario, you spend like $100, $200 to give yourself an opportunity to feed Jazz players.
Right.
Like, okay, cool. It didn't work this time, but what did you learn? Okay, you could go do more. And so, was that event before the Post Malone thing, Or was Post Malone
yeah,
before that?
way before.
Do you think that you would have approached Post Malone the way you did without that experience?
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah,
You would have, but I guess all the experiences before.
Well, and I'm not the type of guy that gets like all starstruck.
Oh, okay.
I mean, dude, I was cooking for Jake Paul and Lake Powell for 4 days.
Yeah, I saw that. How the heck did that even
So it's just
happen?
like, yeah. Well, he was, because we're both Jake.
Yeah.
So he was actually Joseph for the trip, which it's his middle name. So I was like, I'm Jake. I'm like, well, what's your middle name? He's like, Joseph. I'm like, you're Joseph for this trip.
You just told him what's up?
Yeah. He's like, okay. Like,
okay, cool. Yeah. Maybe you like that, right? Take a break from being Jake Paul.
Yeah. Yeah. No, super cool. Like, actually, one of the, he's a great example of like putting himself out there.
Yeah.
And he is like one of the most humble, like chillest dudes I've ever been around.
Is he really?
Like that, to have like that kind of following. Like,
Yeah.
dude, a week after his fight, on Instagram, he had 1.5 billion views. That's 20% of the world saw his Instagram. That's nuts.
That is wild. So for a guy like him, I'm curious from your perspective, do you think that, because in his videos, a lot of times he come across as like very arrogant. Do you think he's authentic in that way, or?
I think he puts on a front.
Okay.
As not character. So he's very in tune. Like he'll do a breathwork session in the ring before every fight.
Really? Okay. So he's very self-aware. He understands.
Yep.
Okay. And so I'm guessing then he also obviously very much understands social media.
Oh,
and social media has been classified as like a game for a lot of people, right? So do you think that him being the way he is on social media is more like a game, like a job? Than
it is a job for him.
Right. And so when people say, oh, he's not authentic in social media, it's like, well, there's two different ways to play it. Like you're super authentic on social media and it works for you.
Right.
For him, I mean, he's literally maximizing social media to its absolute fullest potential.
Right. I mean, you also have to look like, dude, he was doing YouTube 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And like now, you can type in Jake Paul and anything.
Yeah.
And videos from 15 years ago are going to pop up.
They're going to pop up.
Yeah. And like 15 years ago, there's no way like anybody's going to think like
this is going to stick with me for eternity, right? Well, I mean, the videos from 15 years ago, I would imagine that's a lot of his true authentic self too, a part of him. Right. And he's just continued to parlay that and grow it into something.
Right. I mean, dude, the dude is a wizard at marketing.
It's wild. It's
crazy.
Like, what did he do with I went to the Tyson fight.
Did you?
Wild, dude. Just literally everything leading up to the fact that he supported those two women. I can't remember their names, unfortunately. Yeah. But, dude, $1 million. Genius. Because that was the fight of the night. And he probably kind of knew that. He probably kind of knew, like, hey, if these girls go out there and punch the crap out of each other and cut their eyes and stuff like that, that's going to get everyone excited. Dude, the night was amazing until the first round of Jake Paul's fight. As you saw on TV, it got insanely boring. But the crowd was wild going up to the first round. And that was him. It wasn't Tyson. It was Jake Paul. Right. Did that whole thing.
All marketing.
Exactly, yeah.
He's a wizard when dude. And even his, like, so his, dude, and like, this is when I mean he's so authentic.
Yeah.
Is his brand W.
Okay.
Like the
I saw it on
like deodorant,
spray,
and then like body wash, and then now they start doing hair. So his whole team, he gave him equity in the company.
Wow.
Which like,
didn't need to do that.
No.
Yeah.
So and it's like blowing up.
Yeah.
It's in every single Walmart in the world.
Oh, it is already. Yeah. Well, when you have so many billion people seeing it, it's already in their face, in their eyes. Right?
Yeah.
That is just crazy. Well, there's something to be learned from that, right? I feel like this year I started my personal brand, so to speak, right? I said, hey, I'm Daniel McComber. I'm a salesman. I'm an entrepreneur. Failed, past, present, whatever. But I'm going to be the sales entrepreneur. I'm going to embrace this title.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring people on and I'm going to educate. It's been the most fun I've had. It's turned social media into something that I just consume, into something I create. And you hear that all the time: create, don't consume.
Right.
What's your opinions about like personal brands and like creating instead of consuming?
Dude, I'm all about like creating a personal brand.
Yeah.
Because your brand is it's who you are.
Yeah.
Your brand is your legacy. You know?
I've heard people say, if you don't create your own brand, then others are going to create it for you.
To an extent.
Yeah.
Only, I mean, like, I guess it depends on how big you get.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I mean, like when people think of Jake Lords, what do they think of? Cooking?
Yeah. Cooking.
Right?
Eccentric. Funny.
Right. And I created that. Nobody else.
Exactly. And so I think that's what that phrase means, is like, if you didn't create that and people just had like their outside perspective of you from maybe here or there,
yeah,
then it might be like arrogance would slip in there, or fake or something like that. Whereas I don't think anyone that sees your Instagram page can say you're fake.
Right.
There's no way. If I'm scrolling back to 2015 and seeing videos of you doing the same thing that you're doing now, that's not fake. You can't, I mean, no one's faking it for that long.
Right.
Right. And you know what? I just kind of came to the realization of something. That's probably what the difference is. If you're trying to, I don't want to say judge someone, but if you're trying to see someone's character, see kind of who they are, time is the only thing that matters in that equation, right?
Right.
How long have they been doing what they're doing? The track record. I believe that's what will kind of tell you who a person is.
For sure.
What do you think so?
No, I agree with that. Yeah. And like, yeah, who knows if like this cooking thing will keep on going?
I imagine.
But in my mind, like it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
I think so.
I mean, dude, people want me to cook for their wedding 8 months from now. Like
you're starting to get booked out.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Same thing, country concerts. Yeah, and just putting myself out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a local burger place.
Yeah, Chom Burger. I did a Big Jake Burger.
The Big Jake Burger was there. Maybe like made like the sticker of you, like the animated sticker.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Dude, who's got a sticker of their freaking face on it?
Right.
That's sick, right?
Right.
And so how do you think that you're going to kind of keep growing it, keep building it? Your personal brand. And
I mean, I think just keep on doing what I'm doing. Like I talked to the owner of like one of the clubs today at the gym.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, hey, he owns like Sky and Soundwell and Ivy and Barley.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, it's my homie's birthday on Friday. I was like, you care if I just pull up in front of Soundwell and just cook for everybody? He's like, no. Like, I'm like, we'll just do like samplers. Yeah. He's like, no, that's great. Awesome. So.
Yeah. So you're just building.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think the ultimate? So for someone who's like starting their personal brand, what do you think is like a good kind of starting place?
To just start.
Just start.
Yeah.
Just film yourself.
Dude, like my homie Kendrick BBQ.
Yeah.
Films everything on an iPhone.
Really? No, doesn't have like professional crews
no.
or anything. He's got over 1 million people on his platforms.
Oh, dude, one of his videos has 50 million views.
Jeez.
Like on Instagram, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is wild. So just pull out your phone and record yourself doing what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You don't need to try to be flashy or, like you said earlier, be somebody else. Yeah. Well, there's a term like be who you are because everyone else is taken.
I like that.
Yeah. It's like, dude, there's something unique about you that people will gravitate to. Maybe not everybody, maybe not millions of people, but a certain amount of people would gravitate towards it. And at the end of the day, do you want 1 million people who don't know who you really are? Or would you rather have a few people who know who you truly are, resonate with it, and like it and follow you because of it?
Right.
Right. I'm guessing you're the latter as well.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, dude, even like the thing that comes to mind is when I do like the sauna picture and do, be 1%.
Yeah.
1% better. And then I'll do like a quote with it. And
then you tag like me sometimes. You tag like a bunch of people.
Right. So I'll like, I don't do that for anybody else but myself, because Instagram's like a freaking journal.
Yeah.
Like, you can go back and like look at all these things. It's like archived, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it's crazy how much of a positive impact that's had on people.
Absolutely.
Like, dude, I'll get like a message and be like, dude, I needed to hear that today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty cool.
That makes a difference, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
it's making a difference without trying to make a difference.
Yeah. Well, it's self-serving, but you're helping other people because you're – so with like the cold plunging, right? That's something I forgot to mention as well.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not kidding. I didn't know what cold – you were the first interaction I had with cold plunging.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't Wim Hof or anything like that. I just remember years ago seeing you like go – I think you made a video of you spearfishing, but it was like literally there's a little chunk of ice like floating around or something like that. It's like, that's wild. But then later I think you like got back in the water and like did a cold plunge or whatever.
Okay.
And I was like, people – do that? That's great. And then, of course, growing up in the Scouts, we do the polar plunge, right? Where we go to the edge of the dock, we jump in the lake. That maybe like is, 45 to 55 degrees or something like that. It's not terribly cold.
Right.
We're not doing it in the winter. So I guess I had that exposure like when I was younger. But dude, that was 2000 whatever. No one knows like the health benefits of doing that anyways.
Right.
So how did you get into it? And you've had a huge impact on that space, I think. How is it helping you?
Dude, I just there was the time that like this is what I mean, like putting myself out there.
Yeah.
And like thinking of like stuff way outside the box. Bro, there was at one point just to network.
Yeah.
I was an Uber driver in my truck, like just to meet people.
Just to meet people. Yeah.
Dude, like wild, like to think that. I'm like, they're like, you don't have the most gas efficient car. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting like 12 miles per gallon. Like,
you just want to meet people that
yeah. So like, I tried to like, another one was, what can I do that nobody else is, doing?
Yeah.
I started going to Michael McHenry's wife's dance classes.
Oh, really?
Like I'm like one of the only dudes and like 40 women in here.
Yeah.
And like, dude, it got to one point where like, I ended up teaching like one of the songs, bro. It's like, dude, you should see me on stage,
shaking your body. Just
oh yeah,
that's awesome. So that ties into the ice.
Oh no, yeah. So what I was like saying about that, like the cold plunge, dude, my ADD brain freaking went wild right there.
You're good, yeah.
So it really like Sundance Film Festival.
Yeah.
Last year, I was like, kid you not, 8:00 cold plunge, then gym, then back up to like Sundance just to network. Yeah. And I network from, I kid you not, from like 11 to like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then just redo it every single day.
Dang.
Like, and dude, like, probably shouldn't say this on air, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm thinking of the most like crazy ways to get into these like places that are like super exclusive.
Yeah.
And the only people that let you in are who? The security guards.
Right.
So, like, next day I show up with a bunch of monsters and liquid death to give to the freaking security guards. Yeah. They let me in every single day. Like,
dude, thank
you.
Yeah,
dude, I was like, I had a conversation with Robert Downey Jr.
Wow.
God, who else was there? Lady Gaga.
Dang,
like,
bro.
Yeah. Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that's my, going back to like the caring about, like, dude, you guys are not getting taken care of out here,
right?
Or I'd go in and like bring them food, from inside, So
take care of the people that are kind of overlooked,
right?
That's a motto that you have sometimes,
right.
And so the cold plunging, just because that was the
yeah.
I'm glad you took
it. So the cold, the dude
helped you wake up every morning.
No, my energy.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, my energy was it. The energy levels are crazy
when you jump out of that water.
Not even jump out, but like, and dude, I think everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's body's different.
Sure.
And like, everybody's like, oh, you only need to do 3 minutes. Like, my like threshold is like anywhere from like 8 to like 12 minutes. That's when I like start like kind of like feeling it.
That's wild.
Dude, I did 34 minutes the day after Christmas. It was like 10 degrees outside.
And you're in a river, I think.
Yeah, river. One? Yeah, flowing.
Flowing water. Oh my gosh. I mean, me and you just jumped in Bear Lake.
Yeah.
What was it, like
42.
42. And it's been a minute since I've jumped in.
Yeah.
I live in Texas, bro. So I jumped in and I was shivering, but I look over here, you're like.
I mean, I've got a little bit more meat on you guys than,
Yeah, a little more meat kind of goes a long way. But I just was, dude, I remember like the hands were cold, obviously, but like my feet, because you could feel like the boat dock or the boat ramp.
Yeah.
It was like a layer of ice on the bottom, and I could like feel like myself touching it. I was like, good freaking. So, yeah, my exposure to it isn't really great, but it's true. I got out, and I kind of regretted it, or not regret. I wasn't looking forward to it that whole day, but I got out, and I'm like, holy crap, why don't I do this more?
Oh, dude, I did hot yoga last night.
Yeah, and
like one of the girls, she does, she's a breathwork facilitator.
Okay,
called me, I called her, and she said, hey, you want to do hot yoga? I was like, no, but I will, because like, I mean, I told her last night, I was like, hot yoga and like hot Pilates is like cold plunging.
Yeah.
It's so good for you, but you don't want to do it.
It's hard, dude.
Dude, it is.
Did you do over it at Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Point?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife used to go there.
Brick Canvas.
Brick Canvas, yeah.
Yeah.
So we had our wedding reception there, and part of our package is that we could get some hot yoga. My wife was addicted to it for a while.
Oh, bro. Dude, I even screenshotted and sent this to...
You just sweating buckets.
Oh, I was sweating buckets, but the instructor, because she's like this little Latina lady, and she says, because I posted a picture and tagged Brick Canvas. She's like, awesome. Hey, big boy, you did awesome.
Hey, big boy.
She's just little lady. I'm like over there trying to get my legs over my head, and like, I'm like, I look like a damn lineman, like NFL lineman. Everybody else is tinier than me.
Tiny little things is just big Jake in there, bro.
Yeah.
I love that. But honestly, having that big presence is where it's at.
Right.
What I think I've got from some of the stories you just told too, for people out there who don't have as massive of a presence as you do, or maybe when they think that they are being outgoing, that they're actually being inauthentic or whatnot, what it sounds like, if you do things for the right reason, then you don't have to be worried about if you're being authentic or not. So for example, for someone out there, like if you're being outgoing or charismatic for someone else, let's say for example, or you think about the security guards and you say, you know what, like normally I would never cook food and bring it to somebody, or normally I would never do this and this. But if you're doing it for a good cause, a good person, a purpose for someone else, I don't think there's any reason why someone would have to worry about if they're being authentic or not.
Right. No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, and I think that would be a great starting point. And honestly, this podcast is kind of like, I'm an outgoing person, don't get me wrong, but it was a little, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but it was a little different, ambitious of me to like start a podcast and have like reach out to kinds of people like that. Not that I was ever starstruck, but I did always kind of put like a level. I used to put people on a pedestal a little bit.
Right.
Whereas I was like, you know what? I really think I can help people with this podcast. I'm just going to shoot for it. I'm going to go for it. And I did it, and holy crap, one, I don't feel inauthentic ever, but two, I don't put people on a pedestal anymore, because no one should ever do that for anybody else on this planet. And I look at everyone as equal, and I look and see how can I serve other people. And if it means I do something kind of crazy sometimes, I don't think I'm being inauthentic at all.
Right. No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, let's see. We're trying to get the barbecue thing, or not barbecue, but we're getting the food orders high. You're cranking on that. Do you have any other, maybe that you would be willing to share? Do you have any other crazy ideas that you're going to be kind of trying to pull off here soon?
Yeah, it's actually in talk right now. I'm trying to go do a cook right in front of the Delta Center.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like the person I was talking to is like, so would you like just sell the meat? I was like, no, I would just give it out.
Just give it out.
And he's like, really? Like right in front of like the
statue, the note statue?
Yeah, the note statue, but then there's like the Utah Hockey Club next to it now.
Oh, that is.
Yeah.
So you can maybe let someone like pull your truck up in that
Right.
walking area.
Right.
Because if you're not selling it, they can't get mad at you for nothing, right?
Right.
And I mean, maybe I'll wait to release this till after you do it. But like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, if you just like were to pull up.
Well, I want to do it with Kendrick Barbecue.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
make it a legit
have
thing.
like two trucks. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It sounds like all the crazy stuff you do, you've never gotten in trouble for it yet.
No.
Which is, dude, push the envelope
Oh
even
yeah.
more.
Oh yeah,
Like,
bro.
crazy
People
can
love it. Let me do this crazy. I'm in front of Costco. I've got freaking 19 filet mignon on right now. I'm going shopping, coming back, bro. And it's like, yeah.
So like, I mean, dude, just keep pushing the envelope until someone gets mad, and then worst case scenario, you
I don't
get a
know.
ticket or something.
No, but a ticket for what? Like,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, are you selling this? No.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're giving it up for free? I'm like, yeah, you want some? Like, to turn it on them.
Turn it on, yeah. I guess worst case, you can maybe
Yeah.
get like a parking ticket. Like, oh, you're not supposed to be parked here. Cool, I'll pay the ticket. Like,
Yeah.
but you want some food real quick?
Yeah.
Awesome. Dude, that is awesome. But your creativity, like, since I've seen you, and I've told you this before because me and you are in the same men's group.
Right.
And the growth that I think me and you have both had over the past year is
Crazy,
man. I mean, and I told you this, the second, so after like 4 months of us being in the program together,
right.
I came up to you, I'm like, bro, like,
It was when we were in like the Elk Ridge.
yeah, Elk Ridge, yeah.
Yeah.
And I came up to you, I'm like, dude, this is going to sound funny, but I looked up to you, man.
Yeah.
I did. Like I said, I used to kind of put people on pedestals. I remember seeing the video of you doing the spearfishing. I'm like, well, I work for Vivint, and it was my first summer back in 2017.
Right.
And I'm like, this guy, like Vivint's like promoting this guy. He must be big shit, you know? And so as like a first year
Small
guy, I looked up to you. And so it was so funny, you know, going through the program together and getting to know you, like for you.
Yeah. Right.
And also it's been cool realizing, and why I want to have you on the podcast, I'm like, I've never had to defend you, but if I did, I'd be like, bro, I know Jake like down to the bone, and he is exactly who you see on social media. He is just authentically himself, which is so hard to find nowadays. And so just seeing the growth that we've had just kind of like on a deeper level
for sure
has been awesome this year, and that's why I want to have you on, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And so Big Jake Lords is the Instagram title. You know, shout out to Traeger, Kendrick, all those guys.
Oh yeah, I got a Kendrick barbecue tattoo.
Do you really?
Dude,
on your thigh or what?
Yeah, right here.
Dude,
it was kind of wild. he invited me. We were at a concert at Memphis Mayfire. It's like a Christian, like hard, like rock, like punk, like freaking screaming, like.
Oh dang!
And they had a freaking tattoo artist in the like green room.
Really?
And they were like, just dialing everybody up with tattoos. I was just like, I'm gonna get a Kendrick BBQ on my freaking leg, bro. Freaking slapped it on there.
I guess when we did the cold plunge this past weekend, you weren't wearing your typical like Speedo or anything.
Oh,
so I guess I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But that's wild, bro. That's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. I just look forward. We got another 8 months left in our program together. So we're just gonna keep growing together.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. Thanks again, bro.
Sweet. Thanks, man.